we say curriculum, we also think about the different pathways and courses and authentic learning experiences that students can go through in their 4 years in high school. So when you think about having a responsive curriculum, we're talking about being responsive to all those different manifestations of curriculum. If there's one constant in life, if there's one constant in school and education, is that there is always change. So a responsive curriculum, the question we need to ask ourselves is how proactively adaptable, how responsive is our curriculum to the changes we see in students, to the changes we see in technology, in the environment, in current events, in educational research, and in society's general needs. Answering that question is the reason why I believe that having a strategic pillar, one of our 5, dedicated not just to curriculum, but rather to a mindset that curriculum needs to be dynamic and responsive, is so important.
So when we're taking a look at our curriculum, we're thinking about what are the needs of not only our students, our staff, and the community at large. As we continue to take a look at the 8 mathematical practices in our math curriculum, we continue to look for opportunities for us to engage in real-world application of material, while also supporting students who are going to be going into a variety of different careers and paths once they leave District 230. So as a result of that, we're looking at ways to provide rigorous instruction while creating collaborative opportunities for students to experiment, engage, and really connect with some real-world examples.
One of my sons is a senior in high school, and I get a kick out of the fact that every time he encounters a problem, he wants to know, where's the app that can help me solve this problem? 20 years ago when I started my career, Apple was coming out with their first generation iPod. But now, there are applications that exist in devices that are large and small and even on our wrist. And applications are something that are part of the frame of reference that students have today that simply didn't exist 20 years ago. When we talk about instructional technology being something that can enhance education, we need to think about, are we asking students to adapt more to us and how we have learned, or are we adapting to their technological environment, their technological reality? I don't think instructional technology is ever going to replace good teaching, but good teaching today has to be able to incorporate instructional technology to enhance the learning and meet students where they are. An example is a really exciting dynamic software called Gizmos that is used in math and science classes and that creates virtual lab environments for students. Our students are using it in their science classes, and it's a way to enhance what we used to be limited by physical space and materials and equipment, and now students can use virtually in the classroom and also virtually in other locations.
So the Gizmos software is great for us to be able to respond to the needs of our students during the pandemic. It allows us to give the students an online lab experience where if they're quarantined at home or if they are unable to attend school for any reason, that they would have another opportunity, an alternative opportunity to perform a lab. But not only that, the simulation site does allow for more than just the labs we do in the classroom. It actually allows us, it expands upon those labs. We can do more labs that we wouldn't have been able to do in the classroom, such as the study of molecules, the study of gravity, things that maybe we couldn't do physically in the classroom.
What I like about the software is that we're able to see things that we wouldn't normally be able to in a normal lab situation. For example, a lab that we just did in chemistry was able to show us like the actual gas particles moving around, which we never would have been able to see.
And it kind of also allows us to mess around. In a regular classroom, we wouldn't be able to say, oh, let's see what this does when we throw it in here. But online, there's no physical danger to us if we want to mess around and put some stuff together and see what happens. Last year I was full remote, so the extent of my lab experience was all online, and it was still a very beneficial and educational experience for me because I was able to see a lot of the same things, similar things that I would have seen in the classroom and even more sometimes.
If I'm doing a lab in the classroom that's our CART and track labs that we are doing in the classroom physically, the Gizmos does have online versions of some of those labs that if I happen to be doing, let's say, a Newton's second law lab, I can give them the online Gizmos simulation for the students at home to do. They're not missing out on the experience, and they're still getting that experience.
The pandemic forced us to think about what's essential for students to learn and experience in school. And this was especially challenging for our visual and performing arts, areas that depend heavily on certain materials and equipment and the use of space. So it's nothing short of remarkable what our teachers and our students have done, not just in overcoming these challenges, but in excelling at them during this time.
Performances have been really interesting through this pandemic. Ask any band, choir, or orchestra director, any musical director, and they'll give you that sort of deer in headlights look and go, well, we had to spread everybody out 6 feet this way and 6 feet that way with masks last May. We had the ability to finally have a live audience in May of last year, which was amazing. Parents were weeping in the seats because they were able to see, especially their seniors, sing one final time on stage. We knew then that things were turning around, and we were looking forward to this year. Okay, now what's possible? So we just got done with our fall concerts, band, choir, and orchestra. They were a huge success. We were able to have our full programs back. The kids were super engaged. We had to have a limited size audience, but we filled the Performing Arts Center, which was incredible to have that live audience back and having the kids making art together and being able to perform for a live audience, having cookies outside, out front of the pack from the music boosters. There were these little things that were giving us that taste of normalcy that has been really invigorating the kids. When they came back the next day and talked about that experience, they said, you know, we took it for granted that this is what we do all the time. We took it for granted. They've realized, I'm gonna get all choked up. They've realized the responsibility that they have in creating art and why it is that they have this draw to the arts. It's not just about, I like to sing. It's about, I love being with the other kids in my choir. I love making these connections. I love being out on a stage and being able to take the facade down that I walk around with every day so that my parents and my teachers think I'm okay. I can take the facade down on stage and connect with the people in the audience. And for me, I've had a 35-year career in music. That's the point. That's the whole point of why we teach the arts. Take the facade down. Be vulnerable with the people that you are conveying your art to. And the kids are starting to really see that drone's eye view, big picture. I'm not training kids who are going to necessarily go on Broadway or teach music. What I'm hoping is that the students who leave our program understand the human condition. They're more willing to be vulnerable, and that they have a love of the arts that they can pass down to potentially their own children someday, or just to other people around them. It's been just beautiful to watch that, and I'm really interested to see how things are going to shake out throughout this year.
Earlier, I spoke about course pathways and experiences that students have as part of the broader curriculum. And this includes work experiences that students can have that are authentic in real life situations. So a responsive curriculum broadens the scope of what students experience in their learning outside of the classroom and in real life settings that are similar to, if not the actual world of work.
The work program encompasses a lot of different things. Mainly though, we have students enrolled in this program and that go out to job sites 5 days a week. We have students going to Walgreens, Ace Hardware, Sunrise Senior Living, LA Tan, and these students are accompanied by a job coach who supports and guides them with different job skills in a real-life workplace setting. So these students are getting authentic, meaningful experience. They're learning employability skills. They're practicing their self-advocacy skills. They're gaining that real-life training that they may struggle with on their own initially.
A couple of our students have a lot of troubles with communication, and so every day we go into work with them, and they're pretty good at the job, so we'll focus on that for about a week or two and work on communicating with others like employers or managers, asking them what we should do every day, or even just a basic hello, hi, how's it going? Is very tough for these students, so we work on that with them.
So not only are students going out in the community each day, we also have some student workers that remain on campus at times. So depending on what students need depends on the support we provide them. Students that remain on campus participate in a variety of tasks around the building at times. One thing that we're really proud of is the start of our student-led business thanks to a D230 Foundation grant we received last year. Charlie Charger treats and toys now. So our students, they make homemade dog treats, they package them, deliver them, and they also make homemade dog toys that we offer for sale to our staff. So they inventory supplies through that business, and it really kind of gives them that feeling of what it's like to have a little business. So another part of the work program is the occupational information class. Students that are enrolled in the work program typically are also enrolled in an occupational information class. This class is where we kind of troubleshoot and navigate a lot of different workplace situations that could arise or have come up at their work sites. Students in this class either have their own job or are a part of our outplacement with our community job sites. In this class, we also create a resume, we fill out job applications, we make a cover letter, we practice our interviewing skills, and just through a lot of role-playing and scenario situations, we kind of navigate those workplace situations that these students may not know how to on their own without that support and guidance.
Our vision is to empower young adults to impact their communities, and our curriculum is the way that we equip and empower our students to be difference makers in the world.